We're here with Michael Green, executive producer and creator of Kings for NBC. Welcome to Comic-Con.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Having a good time so far?
Yeah, we got here, we walked in this morning and rushed in, and there's all sorts of drama today about, like, people trying to get here. Apparently there's a pile-up on the 405 that sort of buggered everyone's morning, including partly ours. We had a good screening, but Ian McShane's sitting in a limo somewhere, screaming at whatever god he believes in for ruining his attempts to come here and get a chance to be a part of things.
So how did the panel go? How was the reception to the show?
I got to ask you. You were out there. Where were you? I was up there under the bright lights, but people seemed to not leave the room, and I'll take that. We were really excited. People were saying nice things, and we just want to do something the Comic-Con crowd would like. I just think that if they like it, you're in good shape.
So tell us a little bit about the general concept behind the show.
Sure. Kings is the contemporary retelling of the classic story of King David set in a fictional modern monarchy. So just your average Dick Wolf sort of, show. It's a sort of a family drama if your family happen to be the royal family. It sounds like a soundbite I thought of before, but actually I'm going to probably end up repeating that a lot. So thanks for R&D'ing that.
But you heard it first.
You laughed, so I'll take it. Yeah. Okay. What else can I tell you? Please tell me you're editing. Right? Good. Okay.
So it's mixing, with some of the biblical myth with a modern story.
Yeah.
Kind of a fantasy world at the same time, because it's not the real.
Yeah, it's not our world. It's an alternate country, so it's one that some people say it's like it's a country you haven't heard of yet. But we're not saying right away whether it's on the map or not. But we're really just focusing on the problems of that country. And thematically, we're spending a lot of time talking about the old and the new coming together. We're saying that it's a new city sprung from the ashes of the old. So their Capitol building, the Unity Hall, which we shot in Bryant Park, New York, is when you look at it, we've sort of CG made this gleaming spired building coming out of what is the New York Public Library. So the new coming from the old, and saying we're taking an old story and retelling it in a way that's both familiar and very different.
Since you're dealing with, country in the middle of war, obviously you're exploring at least a little bit some parallels going on with what's going on in the real world.
Yeah, you can't help but be influenced by what's going on, and this is the King David story. David and Saul is very much a story of a new king rising while one is falling, and we're very much in a time where, however things turn out one way or the other, we're all sort of due for change, and everyone's sort of excited for that. And I wrote this some time ago, but it was even when we were all sort of hoping the change was on the horizon one way or the other.
Are there any pitfalls that worried you about mixing kind of a contemporary story with more of a biblical plot? You've got very strong emotions involved with anything involving the Bible.
I wanted to write something that was for not necessarily for religious people or not religious people. It's taking these sort of classic elements of the story, the King David story, and using the King David story is one that sort of transcended religion. It's part of a lot of different cultures. There's something really compelling about it that's attracted people, secular, non-secular. It's much more operatic than it is necessarily religious, even though the source material is obviously from the Bible. So for the people who are very attuned to the Bible, I grew up hearing the stories and sort of familiar with it. So for the people who sort of have that experience, we have a lot of Easter eggs or elements that they would sort of recognize and think, oh my goodness, this is they're actually telling the story, or that's a really familiar event. But just the same part of the fun is watching how we did change things very specifically from the original. So we like to think of it as something that people who are religious would enjoy just as much as people who aren't. You don't have to know the story to like it, but it could make your experience a little richer to get all the references.
Where can we expect to see the story go over the course of the first season?
To a DVD set.
But before that,
it's the pilot tells the story of David really coming to the world for the first time. So it's about him learning that world, having a sort of Cinderella moment, and then slowly learning how this slightly dangerous, machination-filled world of the royal family works, and getting better at it. And so him and the king sort of growing closer, and then eventual conflicts ensue.
How much day-to-day interaction do you have, on the shooting set with the show?
We haven't started filming the series yet. We've only done the pilot, but sometimes a lot, sometimes a little. When we were filming the pilot, I was there pretty much every minute of every day, except I took a nap one night because we were shooting for 3 days straight through the night, and I just couldn't take it anymore. But during the series, it's being on set is just part of the fun. So when you can get away from the writing and the editing and all the other responsibilities, that's sort of the candy, getting to go out and see it actually going on, visiting the circus. Yeah.
Any closing thoughts you'd like to share about the series?
Watch it, please. No, we're really excited that we've been showing this for the first time to anyone. We got to show 20 minutes to the Comic-Con crowd today. It was the first time we showed to anyone who isn't like friends and family. My mom hasn't seen this yet, so we're just glad people liked it, and can't wait for them to see the rest. We have to go finish it. So,
all right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.